It is a perfect Saturday night, and we're going live once again here from Daytona by Apex Racing TV. This is the Saturday Night Skippies Winter Challenge for charity. We're running sprint cars, or rather, cup cars over here at Daytona, and we have 27 drivers here to shake down a night of speedway racing. So in the booth is Marco Barbanera and myself, Chan Wei Han. We're bringing you this action live from Apex Racing TV, and we're all looking forward to the exciting speedway action tonight.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Hello to all the viewers watching. Weian and myself. Finally, the band is back together. So this is going to be, I think, a very, very, very exciting event. Thanks to our good friends at MS Rail, we had the trucks 2 nights ago. We had the Xfinity cars last night, and tonight it's the big one with the cup cars, as you were saying. This is going to be something else, and of course, the beauty of this series, having all these drivers racing, of course, for the race victory, but also for charity. There is a lot on the line, pride and donations. Every driver is racing for a particular charity, but also they are also racing in teams. So there is this, this dual thing. No, on one end you want to work with your teammates, and on the other end, of course, even between teammates, you are supporting a different charity. There are plenty of awards. It's not going to be your classic super speedway race, Ryan, that's for sure.
Oh, it certainly is. And the thing with speedway racing is that when you have teams, when you have other cars that you can cooperate with, the kind of racing does kind of shape up to be a little bit different, because you've got a couple of cars working at one end, and also another couple of cars every here and there to kind of work towards the other end. So you'll see a lot of slipstream action. You'll see a lot of pushing by some people. And of course, so if we can go over the race, the track conditions, it is a relatively cool 21 degrees Celsius on track. Of course, that means that there is going to be 32 degrees Celsius track temperature, a realistic weather. And let's go over the qualifying results. So we have a blistering 47.706 pole lap time. This is by Sean Cheeseman. And we've also got a couple other drivers. Just 1500ths of a second behind is Carter Stickney. He'll begin from the outside line. We have Michael De La Sala, who will begin from third, and Robbie Cheeseman from fourth. Scott Dawkins will begin from fifth. Nikolaj Wood will begin from sixth. Chris Herrera from seventh. David Levine from eighth. We've also got Jeffrey Decker from 9th, Jack Moffitt from 10th, Carl Dronker from 11th, Adam Wright from 12th, Justin Malachy from 13th, Ruben Ray from 14th, Joshua Dancy from 15th, Jake Achie from 16th, Brian Miller from 17th, and Walter Kalata from 18th. Because we've got a couple of other drivers who haven't been able to set a qualifying lap time in. They are Mike Bowers, Jared Ziegler, Carrington Wilmer, Avery McDonald, Antonio Bianchi, Chris Stewart, Chris Morrell, Brian Ziegler, and Steve Dewar.
And I'm told, thank you, Ian, that we are having a red flag situation. Something must have happened because our in-race reporter, Avery McDonald, is sending us messages that this race will not start right now. So maybe we can bring him in and ask what the hold-up is. Maybe he should be on the radio with us. Hello, Avery, our in-race reporter. So thank you for this breaking news you gave us. We were all geared up and ready to go. First of all, good evening, and second of all, what happened?
Chris, lost connection and wasn't able to get back into the room. So, he's the main guy that puts this all together. So we're gonna get a new session going. It'll be up momentarily. So thanks everybody for waiting very patiently. So just a little hiccup in the road, but I'm excited, Marco. I don't get a race very often, and let alone be here on Apex. So I'm excited to see what I can do here.
And you were almost, almost in danger of not making it tonight. But last second, you were able to jump back in. And so, this is usually, the beginning of a fairy tale story, no? The driver that shouldn't have taken part in the race goes on and wins it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Originally, I was planning to do it, then I had a couple things pop up last minute to where I wasn't able to make it, and then found someone to cover for me, and well, here I am on the high banks of Daytona. So I've watched a lot of races here, and just nice to get back in the old driver's seat and get this Accu Force a little bit of steering input instead of just sitting there static. So it'll be a fun race. You know, a lot of these guys don't really race these cars much, so I'll be excited to see what they can do here at Daytona because it's a fun track.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Avery, and we'll catch you probably during the first caution. Hopefully, you're not involved in it.
Awesome, thanks, Marco. Have a good show, everyone. Thanks again, everybody, for watching.
And that was Avery McDonald. I say, Wayan, we go on a little bit of a break, and we will come back as soon as we know anything on the new session coming up. So, yeah, if that is okay with you, I can press play on the commercials roll, which is only one commercial, unfortunately, but that's what we have on the menu tonight.
Right, most certainly, man. So I am just also keeping an eye out for the new session, and I think it might be up in just a couple of moments time. And now we're back with a brand new session, but of course with the same race in fact. So drivers are going to have an additional 10 minutes of practice, which is underway at this point, and I think they will go for yet another instance of qualifying. And after that, it's going to be 100 laps or approximately 1.5 hours of super speedway racing that will take place over the next couple of moments. So of course we have gotten the right NASCAR units up. That is, we have temperatures in Fahrenheit. The temperature is going to be 104 degrees Fahrenheit, which is quite a spicy temperature for cars to go on and about. And of course, this is a 2.5-mile super speedway we all know and love.
Yes, so we are back, as you were saying, and you can see the drivers are wasting no time in getting some additional practice time, as we are, of course, seeing the cars more or less same weather as we have had earlier. I think basically nothing has changed, at least that I can see, because some drivers are already doing some drafting practice because why not? As we are 3 minutes away from a new qualifying session, and today we are for the first time in this series we are presenting you our relatively new NASCAR style TV graphics, and of course we will have an horizontal ticker there, like you see right now. When the drivers, of course, start setting, sometimes it will become populated, so to speak. There it is. And then, of course, we also have for other moments, especially the final lap, it's a bit more useful, the vertical ticker. And I like it because in the last lap, when the checkered flag comes, it says, like in real life, unofficial results, Wayan, and then it starts crossing the drivers as they come home past the start-finish line. And it's also what we're going to use during qualifying because it will give us a better idea, I think, of the various positions of the drivers. We'll switch between the two of them during the race. I know that some people absolutely love the horizontal ticker and some people absolutely hate it. And same goes for the vertical one. I personally am in the vertical ticker field. I prefer it because it's easier to digest, and I prefer having the left side of the screen slightly blocked compared to the big block on top. But we have the tools of technology, so we're going to use them. And of course the new driver detail component, I mean, look at that. Chris Herrera styling and profiling in that profile picture with his keyboard. I mean, that is absolutely something.
I love that photo. Yep, so we...
Yep.
I'm sorry, Mark.
No. We are approaching the final minute of qualifying, and as we were saying earlier, drivers are competing for themselves and for the charity of their choice. We'll update that on that during the race, and of course a big reset button for the qualifying session, which will happen in 50 seconds. I'm sure some drivers will get a better position than what they had earlier, and other drivers, by consequence, will be a bit less lucky. But swings and roundabouts.
The final few moments of practice, and we do see quite a lot of streaming of drafting action.
This is the greatest element of all times, which reminds me that I need to bring up a little bit of a splash screen, because I am accidentally using the Italian NASCAR Championship costume camera pack, which we are not allowed to use. So bear with me for a second and enjoy this beautiful splash screen. It's one of those nights, Wayan, where thankfully we'll get issues out of the way straight first, and then we will go to smooth sailing. So I updated the Ford, now the Chevrolet. It's important because there's 3 of them, and of course I need to remember on Monday night to switch back when I do Italian NASCAR, of course, to the other cameras. And the Toyota, thankfully, we only have no the Toyota, yes. Thankfully, we only have 3 manufacturers in the field, so you should be able, dear viewers at home, to have once again the beautiful pictures from the racetrack right now. Weian qualifying underway.
It sure is. So we have got Sean Cheeseman, who's up doing his out lap. So of course, as usual, you've got 2 laps to make this count. But of course, the thing with running qualifying laps here at Daytona is that you require not just your out lap but also your first lap to kind of set yourself to set the car at the correct speed. And usually, it's the second lap that drivers would typically put their qualifying lap times in. So you see, he's kind of occupying the outermost line at this point. So what he's doing is he's trying to get as much momentum, as much speed as possible to kind of build all of that up. So you can see that he's going all the way up instead of taking the inside, the faster line. But that's going to change once he comes to the backstretch at this point. So perhaps around now he's going to then begin to start to angle towards the inside line and kind of take the racing line itself, and then take the second lap as the qualifying lap.
Yeah, there are conflicting schools of thought on this, no? Some drivers basically go hard in both laps. Other drivers use the first lap, the first timed lap, as an extra out lap, basically, which I think is what Sean is doing right now, as the first times come home. We have a dead hit for first place between Herrera and Robbie Cheeseman. Sean Cheeseman is in 6th place. You can see other drivers slowly filing on the left side, populating that list. And Ruben Ray in his Chevy, sitting in 3rd place right now, as most of the drivers are going through their second qualifying lap. One thing we need to remind our dear viewers, we have 1 race per month of this beautiful championship, and this is basically Sunday Night Skippies is a Sunday Night Skip Barber Championship, of course. And once per month they challenge themselves in unique car and track combinations. For example, if you remember, we have called together the Petit Le Mans, or was it a Très Petit Le Mans, I think, in that case, and of course the LMP GT cars, etc. We had the Japanese Grand Prix, I think, last month at Suzuka with the McLaren MP4-30. So this is, for many drivers outside of their comfort zone, Weian.
No, I think in fact we did also have a dirt round.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Cars last month. Wow, that was fantastic.
So these guys are not afraid to challenge themselves, as we have a provisional poll for the Australian Scott Dawkins teaching these North American drivers how it's done, at least in qualifying. But of course, as you can expect, on super speedways the gaps are minimal, and still we have plenty of drivers without a valid lap time. Steve Dewar, Chris Stewart, and others. Sometimes it's just a strategy, simply, you don't want to, it's a long race, 250 miles, so you take your time, you start at the back, and hope for the best.
So of course you can just see the fastest, the pole sitter lap times, slowly going, reducing by, in fact, 100ths of a second. So it is very much a case of the top. Well, in fact, all the drivers, they're just being separated by such a small margin. But of course, over here at Daytona, it's all about, how well you're able to carry your speed during qualifying, and also the optimal choice of line, because after all, it's a track that it's all about you and the track and the car. So this is Walter Calata in the number 9 Ford Mustang, in fact. And he's going to come around the corners 3 and 4. So I imagine that he's also taking these lines a little bit higher. Oh yeah, he's gone back down. So I think he's going to kind of round out his qualifying run. So unfortunately, he's kind of missed out on the checkered flag, and he's not able to improve his qualifying lap time. So we are now progressing to the 100 lap speedway race here at Daytona. And
we try
this
again with the
is
starting grid, no? Second time's the charm.
yeah, that's right, man. So, of course, the starting grid, we have Scott Dawkins with his charity of choice, Staffy Rescue. He begins from pole and along the inside line, and along the outside will be Carter Stigney, part of Community Partnerships. We've also got Justin Malarkey representing MR73. And we've also got Sean Cheeseman, who will begin from 3rd and 4th, respectively. Chris Herrera begins from 5th, Brian Miller from 6th, Adam Wright from 7th, Jack Moffitt from 8th, Robbie Cheeseman from 9th, David Levine from 10th, Nikolai Wood from 11th, Ruben Ray from 12th. We have Jeffrey Decker from 13th, Jake Achi from 14th, Michael Della Sala from 15th, Carl Dronker from 16th, Walter Colata from 17th, Mike Bowers from 18th, Jared Ziegler from 19th, Carrington Wilmer from 20th. And we've also got additional drivers who are going to round out this field. Our very own Avery McDonald, who will probably every now and then provide us in-race insights. He begins from 21st, and we've got Antonio Bianchi from 22nd, Chris Stewart from 23rd, Chris Morrell from 24th, and we've also got Brian Ziegler from 25th, and Steve Dewar from 26th.
So the drivers are waiting for the pace car to start moving. As you see there on the top of your screen, the cars and the drivers. That's, tell you what, it seems awfully fast for me. So next time around it will slow a bit, the ticker there at the top. And here we go. So, of course, 1 year ago, this time of the year, so it was February of 2020, we had the first ever Daytona 500 with a new package, with basically severely restricted engines in terms of power, but of course, because of that, because the horsepower was basically cut in half, there are no more restrictor plates. The racing hasn't changed much, but what this means is basically with the engines a little bit more free to breathe, there is a little bit more throttle response when these drivers push on the gas pedal, and should make overtaking a bit easier. Of course, iRacing reflecting these changes on their service, and so it's what the drivers will race today. Of course, waiting. This should have been the new year with the first year with the new car, but of course, just like in F1, real world stuff has postponed to 2022 the debut of the new NASCAR generation 8, 7. Next generation, generation 7, but I think they call it like next gen, because when a new console cycle comes around, we were talking about earlier, everything is next gen, no? So we are stuck with these beautiful cars for 1 more year, and here we go. The pace car is in, and let's get ready to rumble.
So this Carter Stigney, who has the control of this field, and it's going to be green flag, and the drivers go full throttle, pushing ever so hard to try to get the best start as they can spot off with Justin Malarkey, and in fact they've gone into single file over the pointy end of the grid, but everyone else in true Daytona fashion takes it too wide as they continue through into turns 1 and 2. So we will see quite a lot of overtaking action that will take place all throughout the field. Of course, Scott Dawkins punches most of the grid through, and we've unfortunately only got, along the outside line, we've only got a couple of cars at this point. So we already have quite a 2-3 wide battle. Some pushing here by the number 8, and this is a 3 wide punch. It's going to be a 99 who's going to have the inside line, and the 687 on the outermost line is going to kind of face a bit of resistance and fall a little bit back a couple of positions. So right now Dawkins holds on to his race lead, and the field goes back to 2 abreast as they complete the first lap around Daytona.
Okay, 3 wide on lap 1 as we have a driver unfortunately heading for the pits, maybe for a penalty. It's Carl Dronke, so he has to head for pit road. He's probably gonna go 1 lap down as the drivers are starting to sort themselves out, so very aggressive straight away, especially way under the front of the field. And here we go, you can see them trying to find the perfect spot, even though in our head we all know that it's pointless to risk this early when you are racing this close to each other. Oh, the leader of the outside line sliding a bit, upsetting his balance. Now he has somehow a great run as he's being pushed by the car of Sean Cheeseman, the number 8 car. Man, oh man, this is getting intense quite quickly, Wei-An.
So this is very much teamwork in play at this point. So you have the inside and outside line, both drivers having cars along their rear to kind of push each line through. And at this point, it is Chris Herrera, his outside line. He's managed to push through, and he dives down into the inside line to seal and hold on to his first position. And now it becomes that Sean Cheeseman is going to hold on to the outside line. He's only got the blue number 920 to kind of push him on, and it is going to be quite a tough battle from this point on, as we do see kind of, perhaps the field kind of fragmenting into two parts at this point. So we have the front, where a lot of action is going to take place. This is a good view from Robbie Cheeseman. You can see that there is a lot of effort that goes into kind of pushing the cars in front of you, in fact, and Cheeseman decides, in fact, to go into the inside to close off the number 687, and he will hold on to the current advantageous position of the inside line.
So it's Robbie Cheeseman 920 and Sean Cheeseman on the 8th, leading the respective lines as they go onto the tri-oval for the 4th time, starting their 5th lap tonight. A little bit of separation already between the top of the group and the back of the field. Karl Dronke, after his pit stop, he is 1 lap down at the moment. He needs a caution, he needs it quickly to be the lucky dog and of course get that lap back. So the drivers are moving left, right and center. I saw a beautiful livery, this number 6 car. No, it's the number 6 of Nikolai Wood. It looked like it was like a Tic Tac liver. I don't know if you have them, those candies, refreshing candies in that little pocket container over there in Singapore. They have been Ferrari sponsor for in the glory years of the mid 2000s, basically. Still very popular candy here in Italy.
Oh yeah, we do have them here. In fact, last time I recall, I would try to stuff as many in my mouth as I can without going crazy due to the power of the food. Anyway, this is Robbie Cheeseman. He's being pushed by Chris Herrera, so you can see that position changes kind of happen every time you snap your finger, and also very much based on how fast the outside line is able to catch up with you. So you can see the 687. I guess he tried to make the outside line work, but kind of backed down in. So now this is Herrera. Is he going to think of perhaps diving along the outside, creating a new outside line, or is he going to continue pushing Cheeseman along the inside? So remember that, in speedway racing, pushing the driver ahead of you helps just as much for your position as trying to overtake. And sometimes going along the outside to try to make the overtaking move, sometimes it doesn't really become that effective unless you have a row of cars behind you prepared to push you.
3 wide again, coming out of 2 into the backstretch. Now they sort themselves out once again. That outside line formed by 5 cars as we speak. Once again, it's the Cheeseman show at the front, with both lanes being led by the 2 Canadians. But that outside line, you can see only 5 cars. So, I mean, you can hold on. You will not drop back, but of course you need a bit more if you want to move down. Of course, I would assume that Sean and Robbie Cheeseman are on the microphone, being teammates and presumably very close relatives. I would suspect brothers, but I have absolutely no indication on that. But using my commentators' wits, which most of the times they fail me, so don't quote me on that. But still, they are working together in a very strange way. But they at least if they keep it like this, and it's a long way to go, one of the two is going to win. And as soon as I say that, Sean moves down below, grabs his brother or his relative or his namesake, whatever, and leads the inside line, whilst the beautiful looking 87 car of Adam Wright takes the lead of the outside line. You can see every time they go through here, through the corners, a lot of weaving, a lot of wiggles from the cars. They need to be careful. The more the tires will get worn, the tougher it will be to make these corners. And of course that red yellow line, the double yellow line, not only it signals out of bounds in these super speedway racetracks, but it also can quite easily unsettle your car if you put a wheel on there.
Yes. In fact, you try to get as close to it as possible, but you don't want to touch it because it kind of just throws your car off and you lose. In fact, you lose quite a fair bit of speed. So this is them thundering down turns 1 and 2. Very, very good view here from the TV camera. And going full throttle back along the back stretch as usual. So, just as you said, these cars, they no longer have restrictor plates, but they have a 50% reduction on horsepower. So I think that kind of changes the way the cars kind of respond to overtaking moves and such. So at this point, it is the two Canadians, Sean Cheeseman and Robbie Cheeseman, leading the field. Of course, they lead Chris Herrera, who is in third. Of course, Chris is kind of made the move along the outside. He's tried to make it work along the outside. So he's now gone alongside the both Canadian drivers, and he's probably going to have the number 87 Adam Wright possibly supporting him and creating a new outside line. So this is Adam Wright. We ride on board his gold Ford Mustang, and you can just see how close these cars are together. This is very much so, outside versus inside, having a look at who can push the car just a little more effectively. So at this point, Adam Wright does have a little bit of distance. Of course, the thing with racing along with corners coming the way is that you kind of have the concertina effect. Is you get very close to the rear end of the car as you approach the entrance of the corner, but once the corner comes, you kind of have to back up a little bit, and then you kind of rinse and repeat every time you go through corners and straights, corners and straights.
See, the pack is now once again spreading almost itself equally between the inside and the outside lines. So we have a car that has a little bit of a mistake. It's I think it's Robbie Cheeseman. No, sorry, it's Sean Cheeseman, the number 8. He moved below the yellow line, and I don't know if intentionally or not, because sometimes drivers drop down. Oh, we have contact in the back, and that should be the first caution of the day. Massive wreck. Nikolai Wood, I think, was the first car that for some reason lost control, and that caused an accordion effect that brings out the first yellow of the night. And let's go to the replay straight away. Oh, this is a bit too late, of course, as per usual on super speedways, etc. But with the power of technology, contact between the 6 and the 2, then the 7, and then the 45. Another car gets a face full of the 6 there. Massive damage. Thankfully for a lot of these drivers, this happened right at the entrance of pit road, so they can quickly get in, get a fast repair, get out without losing a lap.
Very much so. I can't help but notice the Tic Tac lookalike car kind of got tangled in that quite badly. So yeah, do also note that these drivers have 2 fast repairs to be able to get themselves up and running very quickly. So that is going to kind of help these drivers and kind of help the field stay competitive for much longer. Of course, I think we've seen a couple of events over the past 2 nights. Similar events over here at Daytona. We're having a look at the replay once again. This is Nikolai Wood, who's unfortunately found his rear end loose. It kind of came in contact with the car up there, and it kind of bounced along the apron and kind of rebounded back up into the track and collected a couple more cars along the way. Those cars 7 and 15 were unfortunate to have been tangled, and this is yet another one who he had this silver Mustang. He's kind of had nowhere to go, and this resulted in an incident that involved quite a handful of cars.
So many drivers heading for pit road, but not the top 5. Let's switch to the tower, which now will tell you that this is the first caution of the night. I love it. I love this little because I always lose track of the cautions. You know.
You know something? If you kind of use this on the NASCAR fixed official series C class, you know, you probably see the first become like 10th or 12th.
Yes, yes.
So anyway, yeah, we do seem to have quite a fan club in the YouTube comment section, the live chat rather. Yeah, I think a lot of drivers rooting for Adam and this driver. Yeah, very interesting. You know, keep the chat going. I think yeah, it's very nice.
Absolutely. Love to have interaction, and if you of course want to ask us some questions concerning the racing we are seeing tonight, and you know, just type in the chat and we will answer to the best of our abilities, which is usually, at least in my case, very low. But you know, out of I don't know, Wayan, 20 years in sim racing this year for me. The biggest win of my career was at this very place last year in the major series where I won the America's Daytona duel for some reason. I have no idea still to this date how I managed to do that. So if there is something you want to ask me, probably it's the super speedway racing, because of course every time you know, this is the third straight night that I do a broadcast from this place, so it's 3 straight nights I get to boast my basically only sim racing achievement of some sort of importance.
Well, that must have been quite a hard race, right? You know, racing for I do understand that majors do kind of full length races, and you know you clinched that. That was so big, man. Yeah, I mean, you know, I recall, you know, coming across the major series a couple of years ago, and I think, you know, the kind of effort that they put into making events of such scale and also spanning so many different regions. I think it's very good for all of us who enjoy sim racing in our regions.
And that's why I was, you know, pointing out as we are about to go green, but the field seems to be a bit uncertain on what to do here at the back. That's why I pointed out, not so subtly, that I won the Americas Daytona duel, which is sadly not the 500, but still was a 60-lap race, was very long. Don't tell anyone that in the final lap the two cars in front of me crashed into each other, and I basically laughed my way to the finish line. But yeah, it was the Americas, so the Americas race. So you know, I came, I saw, I conquered.
Ah, perfect.
Here we go. Time to go racing once again.
Absolutely. So the pace car should, yeah, the lights are off, so the pace car should, you know, weave into the pit lane exactly just that. And this is going to be under the control of Chris Herrera as green flag flies for the second time tonight. And Herrera takes the lead with Adam Wright, who is probably going to lose the advantage to Justin Malaki, who's kind of held on to the inside line. So we are going to observe once again how the drivers will play their racing line. So at this point, we do kind of have a single file along the front half of the field, so the outside line has kind of yet to develop, yet to shape up. So we will wait for a couple of moments. So just said that, you know, we've got some pushing and more pushing here, in fact. So this is a 7-3 who has received quite a good push from Adam Wright in the 87. I just kind of like the paint scheme so much, you know, using the nice matte spec maps, the gold paint scheme. So 73 does have the advantage at this point, but it is going to be a side-by-side run. We have a 3 wide, and this is the yet another car along the outside who kind of makes this work. Very close racing here. You can just see from the onboard how little space these cars have. But Avery McDonald is going to perhaps return. I guess he does seem to be backing off a little bit, and he kind of finds himself back in around 5th position to kind of find himself a safe position where he can push the cars in front of him. It is Adam Wright in front of him. He is going to perhaps go on to make some pushing maneuvers and punch the outside line.
And once again, we see after, you know, the fact was that on the inside line, if you've noticed, between 2nd and 3rd place on the inside, there was like 10 car length gap or something like that. That creates a massive hole and gives maybe counterintuitively to our new viewers a massive disadvantage to the cars in front. So the cars behind are able to get there with an incredible overspeed that caused that little bit of a traffic jam we had, causing quote unquote the cars to go 3 wide in the second lap after the restart. But no harm, no foul. Everyone is continuing, and basically I see that only one driver is 1 lap down. It's Michael Della Sala, who I think unfortunately had to go back to the pits. He couldn't make it back on his own power, and that of course is going to lose you a lot of time. But if we have another caution, we should be able to he should be able to get his lap back. Now everyone has stopped apart from the top 4, Jay Cachet and Steve Dewar. All the other drivers have stopped, and of course these drivers that haven't stopped are going to gamble a bit. They gamble the track position and then hope that the chips fall in their favor as the race goes on with the strategy and the yellows, because you certainly don't want to pit under green.
So we are seeing some holes opening up here and there along the front end of the grid. So it does kind of it would be nice to see if Adam Wright will kind of make the move into the inside line, or will he remain. And this is one very important factor. Sometimes the driver on the outside, they have to remain loyal to the outside line to kind of make it work. Because sometimes if you are on the front outside line, you do have drivers behind you along the outside also pushing you along the outside to kind of make your position count. So Adam Wright is being pushed all the way to the front. So it kind of leaves to be seen if he will retain this outside line, or will he take the natural decision that most drivers do to go dive down the inside. I think very much so he has gone down into the inside line to seal his advantageous position, and it is Avery McDonald's turn to lead the outside line. So there is kind of a bit of a cycle as you see. So drivers going along the inside, from the inside to the outside to make the overtaking, and then go back down the outside when they are clear of the car in front. So we do see one car who's gone out into the apron. I think he is probably Walter Kalata, or he's probably one of the other drivers who might perhaps think of making the move into the pits, or that might just be a little bit of mistake. So we do continue observing this battle up front. We see the nice tic-tac car there hanging down along the outside, and at this point Adam Wright leads the field with Justin Malaki in second.
Darrell Waltrip, back when he was a commentator, he has very recently retired, used to say that this super speedway racing can be easily summarized with the word he made up, which is co-opetition, because it's a competition when you have to cooperate with your opponents if you want to have a shot at winning. Very unique.
Oh, absolutely right. It is very, very crucial here at the Daytona, in fact, because if you are one car left hanging out in the dry, quite literally left hanging out in the dry, if you find yourself alone, because you have no other cars to kind of use a slipstream from, and it's all very important. And you do kind of have drivers forming very long what's kind of called freight trains, and the whole idea is that you kind of collectively reduce all the air resistance, and in that way you're able to kind of be able to push beyond the natural top speed of the car. And of course, in the past it was kind of used to mitigate the effects of the restrictor plates, but of course restrictor plates are no longer a thing now. It's more about trying to get the most out of your car. And this is Robbie Cheeseman. He's down in 6th position, of course third in the inside line. So we will see if he's going to continue helping to push the inside line. Of course, the thing with the inside line is that it's a more secure place to be, but it just means that you're less able to kind of improve on your positions.
I love this camera. Really makes you feel the banking. Of course, Daytona, the track with the highest highest degree of banking in the NASCAR calendar. See, Robbie Cheeseman is pushing the Toyota in front of him, of Chris Herrera. A new thing that they added very recently in real life, and iRacing promptly followed, they made the top end of the spoiler out of Lexan, because of course it makes it, you know, imagine in the past it was like a block of dark material, and at least now you can see a bit more about what's happening in front of you, which a change that has been you know, asked for years from the drivers and the fans, and finally NASCAR has listened. Cheeseman has a little bit of a wiggle. Let's move on the outside once again. Look how much they're wiggling there at the front. Oh, dearie me, the 38 of Carl Dronke after going one lap down. You see, this kind of racing is amazing. If you're new to this, he was one lap down 10-15 laps ago, and now he's fighting for the race lead, the number 38 of Carl Dronke. Very, very, very spicy racing there at the front.
Oh, it most certainly is. So we do have a look at the 73 of Justin Malarkey, who's kind of, you know, been kind of trying his best to keep up with the inside line. So of course he's got 4 cars in total in tow, who will kind of help him push the outside line. So at this point, it is the 38 Carl Dronke who will continue with his you know, with his recent great performance in pushing in kind of making his way up the field, and he is now pushing the 73. So once the 73 decides to go down to the inside line, it will probably be Carl Dronke who will have quite a good position along the outside line.
Getting pushed by the 38, now a little bit of a miscommunication between the outside line leaders, and it was a very, very weird push that the 73 got from the 38. You need to be careful, you know, it's not the days of the car of tomorrow, where basically the cars were basically shoeboxes. They had very, very sharp angles, you could basically push perfectly. Now these cars are much more round at the back and at the front, so it's quite easy to push the wrong way and cause a massive pileup, turning the car in front of you. And the 38 gave a very, very weird shove to the 73. Of course, it is extremely difficult in real life to push correctly, especially with these new, I mean, they've been around for a while now, these cars, these Gen 6 cars. But also, even tougher, I think, in sim racing, because of course there is that little problem called latency. So no matter how good you push, sometimes if the server registers something a bit different due to, you know, a little bit of a spike in the connection or something like that, you know, you could be giving the best push in the world. It's going to be a disaster no matter what.
But of course, we do also see some drivers playing it out extremely well. You know, I think, you know, nothing really beats a shot of, you know, 2 cars bumper to bumper pushing each other. You know, that's just very, very nice. So at this point, Avery McDonald still leads the field. He has, I think, Adam Wright behind him pushing along his rear end. But along the outside line, that will be Justin Malarkey and what would probably appear to be Carl Dronke, who's kind of been able to make the push along the outside quite successful. So again, you know, you kind of see a rhythm of I guess the outside line being faster and also slower. So along this stretch, you know, this is where both cars are, they kind of have the same straight line, but along the corners, the guys along the outside line have a bit more ground to cover, and that kind of results in them being slightly slower. So Adam Wright continues pushing Avery McDonald in front, as you know. In fact, there is also a bit of a side draft that drivers can sometimes take advantage of, you know, if they're racing side by side.
I've been told something from the chat, but apparently Adam Wright is 100 years old.
Oh.
And looking quite dandy for a 100-year-old driver, you know, look at that. The only bad thing is that Chicago Cubs hat, which I don't approve of.
So we've got driver 5 times the experience.
I mean, yeah, we have Morgan Shepherd doing some guest appearances in the Xfinity series in real life, and I think he's 85. So he's even more experienced than Morgan Shepherd. But Again, look at how much they're weaving. You see the car that was involved in the first wreck, the 6. I mean, the only wreck, the 6, has made its way back to the front, and we have a car in the wall, and a massive hit at the back. This is going to be a caution. Oh! And the 920 got a massive hit on the door. Caution is out for the second time today. Both Cheesemans are involved and other drivers. Let's get a replay very quickly and see what just happened. This is looking at Robbie Cheeseman. Something happened just behind the leaders. Oh, see, there was contact between the 920 and another car. Very slight contact. Oh, the 13. Wow, the 13 really nowhere to go. Smashing into... it was Jeffrey Decker. Let's see if we can get an onboard of Jeffrey Decker right now. And see from his perspective, Weian, this is going to be a big hit.
So riding about Jeff Decker, and we'll have a look at how he kind of... Yes, as you can see in front, you know, both cars kind of came into each other, and yeah, there was also no real place for Jeffrey Decker to kind of go. You know, he had that car in front of him, and there wasn't a way he was able to respond in time. So it was a very much unfortunate sequence of events, and so many cars have gone into the pits once again.
Yeah. So we'll wait for the pit cycle. I think these drivers will, the drivers that haven't pitted in the first caution will probably go onto pit road. Oh, careful! Oh, dear me, who was the driver? It was De La Sala getting the lucky dog. He almost collected Justin Malarkey, our race leader. Oh man, that was so close. So Nikolai Wood stays out. Of course, he got fast repair in the first caution. Everyone else is in for their stop. So if the pit stop is under 10 seconds, it is just right side tires and fuel. If it's around 15-16 seconds, it's going to be instead a normal full service. So now that he is out of the pits, why don't we have a quick chat with our in-race reporter, Avery McDonald. Avery, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good. You know, we started towards the back of the field and we worked our way up to the lead. Just kind of a sitting duck for a while in first on the bottom of the line, but we're getting there. We're just trying to get this GG's Playhouse car into victory lane. We're just a third of the way there.
So I see you have gone for a full service, of course, very smart with all these laps left. I have to say that I'm liking your strategy because you have positioned your car there at the front, and as I always say, the more cars you have behind you, the less likely you are going to be involved in something, and especially in this case, it happened right behind you, so your car seems to be pretty clean. And I have to say, some of those moves to cover, you know, the lines there where you were at the front were absolutely spot on, man. You seem like you have a very good car behind you.
Yeah, the car's fast. You know, I really don't do these races much, but I do know when you have a line, you got to take it, and so that's kind of what I did. I saw the opportunity to make some passes. I went 3 wide on the restart, so that probably wasn't the best idea, but I had a pretty good run. But we'll see. We got another restart coming up here. Well, it's gonna be on lap 35, so just gonna try to keep in the front and not really push too hard. Just like to be in the front of the field at these races.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, man, and good luck on this next restart.
All right, thanks. Enjoy, everyone.
You see, Weian, these new quick cautions that iRacing have implemented. Already time to go back to green. I definitely like this.
Oh, that's great. You know, it kind of allows for more racing time. But of course, here in this race, it's all determined by, or rather, it's a lap determined instead of by time. So drivers will still have their fair share of racing opportunities.
So we have, I think I've heard a fighter jet going over your house, or maybe I was wrong, but the sound was, Wei-Yan has a tendency of asking jet pilots to fly over his house during broadcasts. So, but I don't know if this was the case.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Well, so those are F-15s, Singapore Air Force F-15s flying over my house.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know how many of you guys are interested in planes, but yeah, those guys. So we are going to go green in just a moment's time. This is under the lead of Nikolai Wood, and he's going to go full throttle and lead the rest of the grid as we go green for the third time tonight. So Justin Malarkey in second. He's going to be pushed by Avery McDonald, while Nikolai Wood will probably have Carl Jonker along the inside of 38. Yes, that's right. So we have a 2-2 up at the top there. We've also got a couple more other cars who are kind of beginning to feel the gaps a little bit. Chris Herrera and Adam Wright. So we have seen many changes in the race lead, and it is very much the same at this point.
And once again, a bit spread out the field at the restart, but once again, as in the previous restart, this will not last long because the cars behind will catch up. You will see with incredible speed. So I'm expecting to have a full a pack of cars. Now we have 23 cars still on the lead lap. The only drivers one lap down or more, you will see them. Kalata one lap down, and of course in line for the Lucky Dog. And then we have Jeffrey Decker and Michael Della Sala in 25th and 26th place. They are 2 laps down.
So of course the Lucky Dog kind of only works for one driver at a time, and so far only 2 drivers have gotten that throughout this race. So this is a bit of almost an incident there by the number 30. I guess he kind of dipped the apron, bounced back, but was very fortunate not to come in the way of other cars. So this is Justin Malarkey, who's up in front. Avery McDonald has kind of pushed him all the way up, but it would look like Avery has kind of gone for the inside line for himself, and he's going to lead the field with the 73. Kind of, right now he's kind of on the outside. Oh, can I come in? It's not gonna work. So the 73 will lead the outside line as usual, as with before, but this time he's going to be pushed by Carl Jonker.
And look at that. Now after these moves there at the front, other cars are joining the fun. These drivers, you've seen now that Avery moved down to the bottom, left the 73 all alone there. That thankfully the 73 was picked up by the 38, but in super speedway racing, especially going back to what we were saying earlier, these drivers have a very long memory. So if you hang someone out to dry early in the race, and then on lap 99 you need this push, it's quite possible that that driver will, say, no, you're on your own, mate, and leave you there.
Yeah, exactly right. So yeah, it pays to be kind to other people. It pays to be nice to other drivers. You never know when you need them the most. So yeah, the number 9, no, it's 6. So I looked at the number from the wrong angle. So the number 6 of Nikolai Wood is pushing the number 12 of Avery McDonald this time along the inside. So you can see these cars making their way around corners 3 and 4. It's about to sneeze there, and now we have Justin Malarkey, who's been able to push the outside line ever so slightly. So you kind of see changes every now and then. So we now approach turns 1 and 2 once again. Malarkey is probably he kind of tried to go along the inside, but Avery kind of had the advantage along the inside. So they're going to push once again. We also see some of the other cars along the background there trying to kind of keep up with the field. So Avery does have a good advantage at this point. He's been pushed quite far up, but so is the other car. So Avery, surprisingly, he goes along the outside. He kind of lets the inside. He kind of lets Nikolai Wood take the inside line for himself, and Nikolai now leads the race.
Here we go, so slowly but surely everyone else is joining in the fun after the restart. Look at the 12 there, Avery McDonald now on the outside, as you were saying, the 38 also looking good. And you can see the 7 also, Jack Moffitt is not that far away, and also the 2 Cheesemans. They were involved in that track, but they were able to get back to the pits under their own power, get a quick repair, and off they go once again into the lead pack. Trying to push each other, and together with them is the very quick Ruben Ray, who has been... I think it was the car that was involved in the first... We saw that car that got basically the front end completely smashed because you couldn't avoid the damage in the first portion. Now I recognize him. And he seems to be... Oh, look at that! Avery McDonald, the 73 of Malarkey, clipping the wall. Did you see those sparks there, Wayan? Very, very, very dangerous moment. He was able to save the car with great car control, but that could have been a big, big wreck.
Oh, it could sure have been, but you know, these drivers are so good. These drivers, you know, they always kind of find ways to keep the cars under control. You know, every time they have kind of mishaps like these. So Avery McDonald goes down to the inside line once again. He takes the race lead once again, and Justin Malarkey is now leading the outside line with some effort from cars behind Carl Dronker and Adam Bright to kind of make this work. You can just see how close, and I guess how so dirty the front bumpers of these cars are, having raced 40 laps already. This is the rear end of Avery McDonald, and you can just see how intense, you know, the pushing action is with each lap. You know, this is Nikolai Wood in second, who is that green arrow, nice pace scheme Camaro there. He is rather, and McDonald has kind of gone out to the outside line, and you know, we can see good pushing efforts here.
Malarkey gives him a push, then Avery moves back to the bottom once again. Bit of crowd cover. Let's take a look at the weather. Weather update. It's now past 1 in the afternoon here at Daytona. It's already the 14th of February in the sim, which is also, of course, in Singapore and in Italy. So happy Valentine's Day. I know that you guys in the US still have to wait at least a couple of hours, if not more, depending on where you are.
Yeah, what a day to be alone.
Well, you know, I'm telling myself, no, this year you get you get a pass because, of course, I'm saying, you know, Marco, you get a pass this year because, of course, you know, there is restrictions. So even if I wanted, forever alone.
Right. It is interesting to look at to try to understand Avery's strategy, because you know, he is kind of alternating between the outside and the inside. I think presumably he's probably trying to keep the engine of Nikolai cool, because you know, sometimes when you're pushing too much behind, you know, your engine becomes hotter and hotter.
Yeah, we've actually seen last night in the MRSA race. MSRA, sorry. We had a driver in the final few laps of the race blow his engine because he had been pushing too much his teammate, and that ultimately changed the outcome of the race, because that driver then was his teammate was left alone there and had to settle for second. But look at the 38, how much he's moving left, right, and they almost go 3 wide. But McDonald then moves to the bottom to grab once again the push of the 6, whilst on the outside Malarkey and Dronky are now actually first and second, at least as soon as they enter third one. And now it's Malarkey's turn to leave his friend or his frenemy, once again quoting the great Darrell Waltrip, moving on to the inside and now getting the push And now moving once again, this is for the new viewers, this stuff that we are seeing, it's end of the race kind of tactics, but we're not even halfway through.
Yeah, I think it's just great to see that in speedway racing you can kind of push all throughout the race without kind of worrying for your tires, because on the super speedway the tires don't wear as much and the drivers can just kind of can push as much as they want, as opposed to other speedways where you can only push so hard on the first few laps if you kind of want to extend the lifespan of your tires. So very, very good racing by these drivers here all night long. And once again, Justin Malaki also goes up to the outside to kind of return to Avery McDonald, and he is now leading the outside punch. So is Kyle Drucker. He's found himself in a race lead at this point. He's along the inside, pushing along the inside.
Gotta be careful here, as they are now, as you were correctly saying, drivers who were on the inside line now have found themselves on the outside line, and vice versa. 48 laps out of 100 completed. So we are inching closer and closer to the halfway mark of this race. Going back to the tires, basically you can, in my opinion, get away with doing right sides only for the entirety of the race. But these drivers, of course, especially under caution early in the race, no need to take only 2. They took 4 because, of course, again, you can do it on 100 laps of right sides only. But if you can take, if you can take 4 tires, take them at least once, for peace of mind, more often than not. Because, of course, with the new tire model. New, but it's been one year now that we have it in iRacing, especially on these cars. It's possible to have tire failures if you drive too hard on the tire, or if you get it you get too much wear on the tire. You can get a puncture. That was the word I was looking for, and you don't want to have that.
It just makes things more realistic, doesn't it?
Yeah. Just to be clear, of course, in racing we don't have random failures, because that would be very unfair especially in a esports competition like this is. But you can damage components of the car due to wear and tear, and or due to driver error. Car in the wall. Turn 2. The 99, the 13, and maybe others. Third caution of the day.
That was very fast. I think that incident unfolded very, very quickly, and it kind of collected so many cars. Let's have a look at the replay and observe what actually happened from this chopper view. So a side-by-side collision between both cars, both these drivers, and as both cars kind of rejoined the track, they collided once again and collected so many other cars along the rear. Some drivers also, they were trying their best to avoid the incident and found themselves facing the wrong, hitting the wall instead.
Let's see who were the 2 cars that touched. One of them was the 96. So that was Ruben Ray, who then moved up, clipped the 87, I think, of Adam Wright. And then the 87 got clipped by the 99, came down, clipped the 920 once again. Poor Robbie Cheeseman is not having a lucky day, and then all hell broke loose there behind them. Involved was Jeffrey Decker as well, and other drivers. And you can see already, just as the halfway mark of the race, a caution that comes out, basically splitting the race in 2, almost perfectly. And I wouldn't be surprised if all of the drivers, even those who pitted recently, are now deciding to go in and get a full service, or at least right sides only, whilst topping up the fuel. But maybe not. No? No, yes. No. Well, someone stayed out.
Yeah, I think we have a fair number of drivers who are going in and some drivers who are going out. I mean, it is also worth noting that this incident didn't involve as many cars as the earlier two incidents, so I think we might see less cars in the pits. But of course, this being a 100-lap race, don't forget that the drivers do also require a fuel stop because, typically a full tank, kind of only allows you a limited number of laps before you have to pit for fuel. I think over here in Daytona I think you can only go a maximum of, I guess, 60-ish laps before you have to come in for fuel.
Drivers who stayed out are Chris Herrera, Carter Stickney, and Justin Malarkey. The leader of the drivers who pitted is Carl Dronke, followed by Robbie Cheeseman, who I think will get a end-of-line penalty because he pitted straight away, of course, because his car was a pile of junk after the wreck. So he's going to be penalized, and we will move to the back of the line, but he stays on the lead lap. Then Avery McDonald, Nikolai Wood, Jack Moffitt, Brian Miller in the top 10 is held up by Sean Cheeseman. We still have other drivers who are having very long stops, and I'm afraid that these are the drivers that are out of fast repairs, and you can tell because their pit stops are, around or over the 1 minute mark, Wei-An. So, yeah, that is certainly not a regular fuel and 4 tires, which again is a 16-second stop. So these drivers we know from now on, they won't be at 100% because even the best pit crew, in the racing pit crew is not the best pit crew, let me tell you, cannot bring that car back to 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you don't really have duct tape or like hammers in the iRacing pits. There's just some magical force field that compresses the bumpers and your bonnets to kind of flatten the sheet metal. But
iRacing doesn't know balance because with the old damage model, which this car uses, what you said, it's the car rarely gets back to perfect. With the new damage model, tonight in the official F3 series, which has the new damage model, there was a car who flipped and went cockpit first to the catch fence, exploding on the spot. And after doing repairs, the driver was back on the track 10 laps down. But you would imagine that a car like that is not going to be repaired. A car that hits the catch fence and explodes is going into the into the dumpster, not back onto a track. But there is this, and this is why the new damage model in the Cup Series has been activated for only 1 day, almost a year ago, and never seen again, because you could wreck and then the car would come out of the pits just like it had a fast repair. And I'm a bit disappointed that iRacing hasn't reintroduced it. After almost a year of trying it first. Same goes for the Porsche Cup GT3 car. Both these cars here and the Porsche GT3 Cup car World Championship cars, of course. So maybe they don't want to screw up their World Series. But that's in the past, and the present is another restart.
We go green once again, and one for Chris Herrera takes a race lead again. He leads Justin Malarkey and Carter Stickney, so it is great to see Herrera up on the pointy end once again. I think he led the race at various points earlier on, and he is leading once again. Avery McDonald tries to begin an outside line, and so does Justin Malarkey. So these two drivers will form an outside line, of course, with Carl Dronke behind there to kind of form a three-way punch along the top. So Malarkey kind of finds his way ahead of Chris Herrera. So very much in speedway racing, starting from pole doesn't exactly guarantee you the best position to kind of last for the whole lap. So Malarkey coming under quite a lot of pushing by Avery McDonald at this point. So the inside line is well and healthy at this point, while the outside line, I think it consists of just 2 cars. But at this point, Malarkey and McDonald, they are alternating between the inside and the outside. So I think it does leave to be seen, what kind of short-term strategy they are going for in trying to hold on to their positions. So very nice Toyota Camry here, the rear end of that car. You know, those cars are not as so common here in Singapore. You know, it's very nice to see them. Oh, a bit of contact by Adam Wright, coming to the rear end of that would appear to be Carter Stickney.
So this time the restart, the cars at the restart were much more compressed, as it should be. So you can see now we have a long snake of cars on the inside. Tandem drafting, or at least an attempt to tandem draft between Malarkey and McDonald there at the front, with Tronchi Herrera, Moffitt, and then of course Moffitt leading, so to speak, the wannabe outside line, which is clearly not working at the moment as we move this beautiful camera from the backstage, which really gives us an idea of how the cars are positioning themselves. You see Malarkey staying in the middle of the track, then moving down to the bottom to preserve the position, not give McDonald 100%. You know, Malarkey and McDonald have been trading, let's say, I don't know the correct word in English, but they have a lot of times being on the same side of the track, the one pushing the other, and a couple of times we've seen either one of them leave the other out to dry, or let's say not playing very nicely, as we see a car going down the double yellow line there, but going back into the track properly without losing position. So this is a fight that we surely need to keep an eye on as the race goes on, especially because when it comes, if the race comes down to these two drivers, I don't think they're going to be playing nice with each other, judging by, again, I said these drivers have very, very long memory, and they have left each other out to dry more than once during the race.
Yeah, well, the thing with fierce competition is, you don't necessarily always have friends, but what you do have is common interest, and sometimes you will cooperate to kind of achieve that common interest. But once you're at a good position, you start to probably think of the next attacking move. I mean, this is just each driver trying to get the best out of their cars. So both Malarkey and Avery McDonald, they have been able to withstand the most of the grid behind them, but right now Jack Moffitt is making it 3 wide, and this is going to be so intense as they make their way down into the trioval. Look, it's just so great racing here. Everyone's keeping their cars intact, keeping to their line, and this is something that is so. I just said that.
It's the big one. It's the big one. We knew it was going to happen. The question is always when it's going to happen, and we have the answer for tonight. Wayan, lap 59 out of 100. That was right at the front of the field. They were 3 wide. McDonald was 3 wide with Malarkey and with Moffitt, and I think that Moffitt and Malarkey made contact, and all hell broke loose behind them.
I think I should have kept my mouth shut on that.
Let's go to a replay.
I mean,
out. Maybe a bit later. A bit earlier, sorry, we need to get. Maybe here. This will give us a better perspective up high. Look at the 7 and the 73 there at the front. They will make contact, I think. Now, yeah, here we go. Oh, I think they make contact, all 3 of them. Also, McDonald had a little bit of a little hand in this, I think. All 3 made contact with each other. The car on the inside in these cases is the one that has got a little bit of an advantage, because he's got the best position to be there at the bottom. And the inertia pushes the cars outwards toward the outside line, and that spelled disaster. The physics don't lie, and they spell disaster for Malarkey and Moffitt and the rest of that outside lane. And let's get another replay here and see it from Another camera angle. And this took out a lot of cars. And a lot of these drivers are now either out of faster pairs or at their second big wreck after being out of faster pairs. Look at that 73. Went for an absolute ride. Let's go on board with him. And hopefully, you know, you have had your dinner or breakfast or whatever many hours ago, because this is going to be a bit jarring, so I've gone.
No, I think Malarkey had no way to kind of avoid that. It kind of felt as so, you know, two worlds came into him, and you know, he had nowhere to go.
Look at that, how many cars have had to run for pit road. Now, of course, I was just about to say Malarkey needed a caution, because he was absolutely not in a position to finish the race on fuel. So he got the caution, but unfortunately he was the caution. He got his fast repair. He should be still on the lead lap, which is good for him, but now of course he will have to start all the way at the back of the field, which is less than ideal.
Well, I think, you know, we've still got 38 laps of racing to go, and 38 Daytona laps is still quite a long time. So, you know, I think there's still plenty of time. You know, more so with this speedway racing, these drivers will have more opportunities to kind of understand, you know, the best strategies to take in order to get the most gains. So long as, you know, you kind of find traffic, there should be ways for you to kind of make your way up.
The only issue is that now, given that we have some damaged cars, because again some drivers are out of fast repairs, if you are forced to start at the back of the field, you are going to have these slower cars at the restart, and by the times you jump them, because the first 2 or 3 laps these damaged cars are still not that slow, so they can you know, keep up with you. The moment, you know, by the time you get past them on lap 3 or 4 after the restart, you are in big risk, big danger of not having the draft anymore from the good cars at the front. So, and speaking of which, Malarkey has once again gone through pit road, so he will start all the way back if he's able to catch up to the pacing line before the restart. Because here is Jack Moffitt. He was able to pit because he was able to continue, so he pitted, didn't lose a lot of positions, but the lead of the race is already getting ready to get the green flag, and Justin Malarkey is coming now out of turn 2. This is going to be tough for him to get the draft.
So this does mean that we will have quite a different, slightly different front end. But of course, I think we still have most of the front runners up here again. Green flag for the 4th time here tonight. Avery McDonald, once again, he takes the lead, and he's got Ruben Ray. Good to see him up there. And I think in the background we have a Mustang who's kind of clambered up the wall along the trioval during a restart. But I think all is well at this point. So Avery McDonald continues leading Ruben Ray along the inside, and we have Justin Malarkey here, who's trying his best to clamber all the lost ground, as best as he can. So along the outside line, it is being led by Adam Bryant as we ride on the rear bumper camera of Avery McDonald. We can just see how close the Mustang goes, or the Camaro goes in, kind of pushing his car. So we have I guess the grid right now, the packs right now is kind of sparse as compared to a couple of laps ago. But of course, Avery McDonald is kind of getting the longer end of the stick at this point.
Yeah, and looking at once again at Malarkey, he needs to make his way past these cars that you know, some of them are also not damaged. And then there is a secondary group of cars, and then there is this lead group of cars. So again, he needs a caution. He needs another caution and possibly not to be involved in it. Now, it is not outside of the realm of possibilities to have another yellow, because this is Daytona, of course. By the way, Adam Wright, been there or thereabouts all the race long. He dropped back slightly when he was involved in that big wreck a couple of cautions ago. Now back to leading, and leading the inside line, with McDonald leading the outside line, and Moffitt was involved in this big one, the most recent crash. Not again, not suffering too much. You can see he's there fighting, still fighting for the race victory.
So now the outside and inside line have kind of they've kind of become a little wider apart, and right now Avery McDonald is he's gone along the outside and he's coming under some push from Jack Moffitt. So quite interesting to see how things will shape out with a couple of different drivers pushing up front at this time. You know, everyone brings along their own style of racing, so we can see how all these kind of play out towards the race. So some drivers will continue pushing you all the way towards lap 99, and then after that leapfrog you along the final corner of lap 99 to of lap 100 to kind of make their overtaking move. Whereas other drivers will kind of, whenever it helps, they'll push you, but at the same time they'll also kind of give you a run for the money. As is very much the case for Avery McDonald. He's being pushed by Jack Moffitt once again, and we do see more cars kind of returning to the faster pack up front.
Oh yeah, I mean, when the white flag drops, it's it's anybody's game. All the friendship, all the camaraderie, all the teammates, they usually go out of the window. There is nothing you can do. It's every man and woman for himself. Or herself, of course, in the final lap of a super speedway race, as it should be. I might add, as they're still going side by side here. The 96 pushing the 87, both cars very shiny and metallic. I really like that. The top of the picture, you see the outside line with McDonald and Moffitt. Let's check in on Malarkey, and he's closing in. The car is still has a, it seems a small gap, but it's a big gap. But good for him that they are not losing contact. At least not yet. As now you gotta be careful there, because I think McDonald had an idea way of going down the inside, and he was moving down below. Then his spotter must have called him not clear, and then he went back up, and so he has to stay put for the time being. He loves moving up and down. Oh, once again, hints of a 3 wide, but they quickly go back to double file, and once again on that start finish straight to start lap number 69. We are getting closer and closer when our ticker there at the top will switch from lap X of Y to X lap 0. When that changes, it means that it's time for serious business.
So this is where you kind of cue techno beat to hype things up a little bit. So yeah, Avery McDonald also is still up front again. Oh! A little bit of something happening. So that is Jack Moffitt who, I think that is Jack Moffitt who found himself along the wall just now, and he's fallen so far behind now. I think if we can have a quick look at the replay and have a look at how that very little incident unfolded. Fortunately, it didn't lead to yet another big one. So this is Jack Moffitt. He's behind Avery McDonald.
I don't think it is. I'm trying to find maybe now. I'm trying to find the.
Yes, it would probably be this.
Because
so
or maybe not. It's impossible to find because he didn't crash, technically speaking. And so I'm trying to see, maybe now. Must be this time around. Here on the Super Speedways, for those that don't know, our event recap on our timings. Oh,
There
do
it
the
is.
engine! There we go. Engine gone.
Yeah, I mean, when you push for too long, you know, you unfortunately, you know, if you don't keep an eye on your temperature gauges, so that just happens to your engine, and you know, a damage like that will take very long to repair.
Oh, a big wreck on the backstretch. Looks
So
like
we are on
Adam
lap
Wright is
71 of
involved.
100.
Adam Wright is involved. Avery McDonald is involved. Oh dear. Oh dear, dear. Let's see what happened here on the
So that caught
backstretch.
us. That caught us by complete surprise, you know, Marco.
Yeah. So this is a bit too early, but we'll stick with this replay. As the drivers were making their way onto the backstretch, I think the two leaders somehow collided. And that could have been an even bigger crash. Let's see. Oh yeah, yeah. McDonald went down and collected another car, which I think was the 87, and all hell broke loose once again under caution. And let's see how many fast repairs do these guys have left. I know that I think McDonald has one, but I don't know about Wright, who has been in the pit lane twice. So once he had to use his fast repair, the first one, certainly. Let's see if he has another at his disposal. We'll stay with him and see if his car magically repairs itself once he enters his pit stall.
So we are going to see some drivers taking it into the pits once again. I think just like the previous pit stop, a lot of people went in, and it could very well be the case here. So can't help but notice is caution number 5. But of course, I think it with the super speedway racing, it is going to be quite, unfortunately, a common occurrence. So drivers now going into the pits, some of them having the advantage of fast repairs. Some who have unfortunately used them all up will have much longer pit repair times. And we've also got some drivers who are taking tires. In fact, of course, here at Daytona, although your tire wear is not exactly as crazy as you would on every other oval track, it still pays to change your tires.
No way Avery McDonald is still there in the pits, huh? And now he restarts because he had a fast repair because oh. McDonald has disappeared for me.
Yeah, I think we might have lost McDonald.
He had a very, very long stop, 33 seconds. But he had a fast repair because his car got repaired there. Oh man, he's not coming back. He's still here in the interview area with us, but it might not be smart to bring him in and have a chat, because I'm sure that the language, in case he's getting like a technical issues on his system, is going to be not safe for work. And still he hasn't reappeared. Oh, this is terrible. He's going to lose a lap now. And so, out of nowhere, it is Carter Stickney who's leading the way. And he will be the leader of this restart, Wei-An, with Nikolai Wood from Canada in second. Then Carl Dronky and Justin Malarkey, Ruben Ray, also Brian Miller, Steven Duard, Ziegler's, Brian and Jared. And of course the hero of the chat room today, Adam Wright.
So we might have unfortunately lost Avery McDonald to the internet connection issues, and I think he's going to lose quite a lot of positions if and once he comes rejoins this race. So still under yellow flag conditions, but of course the pace car will make its way in over the next couple of moments. But of course, it does mean that Carter's thing, the very nice paint scheme car. I can't identify if this is. I don't think this is Tic Tac. I think it is another paint scheme. But yeah, that is Nikolai Wood. So Carter Stickney leads this field. Of course, we have a new leader. I don't recall seeing Stickney along the race lead over tonight. In fact, so it's going to be interesting to see how he decides to control the field.
McDonald is out. Connection issues, so we lost one of the protagonists of this race as we get ready for the 5th restart of the night. Oh, big wreck!
And what a restart that was!
Wood lost the car. We stay green, but from second to 18th. Let's get a replay of that.
Yeah, so that was quite a stunted start, and they're having a look at Wood.
He went down, and for Gronky that's going to be a penalty because he entered the pit road unsafely. 36. Sorry, the 38. So you will see now the 38 unless the organizers can relieve him of the black flag. He is going to be tagged with a very long penalty. So this completely destroyed the lead pack. And with only 25 laps to go. Oh, another massive crash. Adam Wright involved, and that's going to be his day done because I think he used both his faster pairs. My, this race is getting feisty in these final few laps, Wei-An.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, we've got great racing action, and I guess
the 71 and the 113. So it was Brian Ziegler and Brian Miller. Let's see from another perspective, you will see contact between the pair of them. Nowhere to go for Malarkey, or maybe he morphed inside and got lucky, but one driver who was absolutely left with nowhere to go and probably with his day over is the 87. Look at that.
well, I think the roof flaps did keep him from rolling over. If you recall, back when the COT cars, Gen 5 cars, they had those actual spoilers. If you kind of got your car around, you would then kind of flip and go 360 flying airborne.
Yeah, we've had some major crashes during the years. The saga between Brad Keselowski and Carl Edwards, where they both flipped each other, one at Talladega and the other at Atlanta, springs to mind. And then they went back to the traditional spoiler. So, as we had news that Avery McDonald is back, even though he must be a million laps down, 2 laps down to be precise. Plenty of cars in the pits, and we see the lucky dog there going around the outside, if I can identify him, which of course I can't, so we will never know who the lucky dog is, but you can sense that the temperature and the tension is rising way out, because we are basically now having a caution fest in this latter half of the race as what's happened to Ruben Ray? He's moving down the infield. Now back. Okay, that was probably. Maybe he was texting and driving, which I suggest you don't do. And now he's morphing inside. Let's have a ride inside the pace car. He's having a bit of fun, Ruben Ray, I think.
So yeah, I think Avery McDonald is back in the session, so he should probably have the opportunity to rejoin the race, over the next couple of moments. So yeah, we do have Ruben Ray leading Jared Ziegler. So, very much different order of the field compared to what we had just moments ago. So we have so many guys who were probably in the middle of the field earlier on in the race. They're all up front now.
Lights are out on the iRacing Mustang pace car, as there are still several drivers who have made their way out of the pits right now, and they're trying to catch back to the pacing line. And then you see Madam Wright, as we expected, out of fast repairs, and he will have to contend with the very painful final 22 laps with a damaged race car. Because not only, you have a damaged race car and you have nowhere to go, but you have all these final laps will be spent by him thinking, I could have won this, And you cannot wait for the checkered flag to come and, put you out of your misery, so to speak.
Yeah, so it is going to be Ruben Ray who will control this field. Of course, when you're racing, when you're going for the green flag, if you're the car on the outside, you cannot overtake the car on the inside. Although the cars behind the first and second place can do that as long as they remain the outside inside layout. The second place car cannot overtake the first place car, but the fourth place car can overtake the third place car. So there's something interesting. So the cars gather and sorry, Marco.
No, here we go. I wanted to tell you, hold on, because this is going to be, hold on to your seats. This is going to be some crazy 21 laps to finish the race.
And this green flag led by Ruben Ray and Jared Ziegler. These two drivers will be leading their respective lines. As I just said, that Jared Ziegler went into the inside line and the outside will go probably to the drivers of Antonio Bianchi and David Levine. But it's a bit difficult to call at this point because the lines are kind of yet to solidify, to firm up at this point. So right now we have a two wide racing between Ruben Ray, Jared Ziegler, and perhaps Antonio Bianchi thinking of a move. So along the inside is the 57 machine of Ziegler. He kind of made that work. So right now he's in second place along the inside. So that is a secure position for him. The Michael Jordan machine of Antonio Bianchi in 51, that is very interesting paint scheme. So he moves along to the outside line, and I think we are going to start to see some moves take place from here. That is Bianchi pushing Ziegler up front, and Ruben Ray drops down to fifth position as a result of these moves.
That was very, very dangerous in the first lap after the restart coming out of 4. Coming into 3, sorry, there was a driver that was pushed on the apron, was Ziegler in fact, and then he went back. That caused a little bit of an accordion effect. But now, look at the 51 pushing beautifully the 57, whilst up high they need to be careful because Cheeseman almost turning one of the 3 teammates there, De La Sala, the number 2, and there's also Labine in the 259, and I think there is another car there, the 113 of Miller. Those 3 are all teammates, as you can see, wearing the same livery and driving for D-Line Racing. Each one of them supporting a different No, sorry. Two of them supporting the Crohn's Colitis Foundation and the other supporting the American Diabetes Association, as we had out of the fourth turn and back into the trioval, and each time they go by, of course, a lap goes by, and this means another chance less to make a move, and especially for the drivers that are not at the pointy end of the field. If you want to go ahead and start to make moves and you want to have a shot at victory, you need to make your moves now, because you are not going to gain 10 positions in the final lap. I mean, you could, but you need help, like, you know, divine intervention or something.
Maybe another caution.
Maybe another. We
So
don't know
I
if we
cannot
have,
jinx things anymore.
we don't know if we have green-white checkered. I guess we will learn if and when we have a caution in the closing stages of the race. And look at that, the leaders now are completely different bunch from what we had for the majority of the race. The beauty of super speedway racing, where you never know what's going to happen.
So this is a battle between Ruben's outside line and Jared Ziegler's inside line. So, you know, this is very, very intense. We have so many drivers rooting for each other, kind of pushing their own lines at this point. Very, very nice racing action here. So 51 pushing the 57 so hard that he's now inched up in front, and Ruben Ray is now... He is.
Della Sala and others.
Well, that was quick.
Massive wreck for Della Sala. He went hard into the barriers. Other drivers involved: the 76 of Mike Bowers, the 12 of Avery McDonald, Carter Stickney, our former leader, also involved. And once again we hit the reset button and we wait for another restart with now 16 to go and the 7th caution of the night. Wow, and with each caution the tension rises, you know?
Oh yeah, certainly does, because you know, the drivers kind of have 16 laps to go. So this is, you know, when you have you know, these number of laps to go, your strategy kind of changes. It's going to be all, you know, every driver for themselves. So drivers will begin to push slightly harder over the next couple of moments. But of course, you know, we do see, I guess, you know, perhaps with the recent pit stops, I think the drivers will probably, maybe less of the drivers will take the pits during this pit stop. Speaking of which, Marco, I think it's been quite some time since I last raced Daytona. I think the excitement you get from, you know, super speedway racing is in some ways very different from racing other ovals with your NASCAR.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's you know, with the new package that they are also running on the other mile and a half tracks, or the 2-milers. They try to make it similar there, but it's different, and I think it should remain different. You know, the kind of racing we have here to the kind of racing we have, say, at Charlotte or Michigan. I also want to point out that I find it absolutely poetic that the contrast between the you know, pile of bent metal and crash that we are having every once in a while, and the nice birds chirping in the background when you talk. It makes for quite a stark contrast. Like we should have had the jets coming above when there was a wreck. It would have been like perfect, but no. We had them under caution.
I didn't know my mic was so sensitive, man. So yeah, we are at, I guess, the final moments of the race. So, I think if we can just do a very quick recap of things that have happened. We have had a couple of incidents, but we've seen so many good overtaking moves, so many good strategies kind of play out among the drivers who were leading the race. They're now kind of spread out all over the field, and I think to round, such a feisty night off, I think we're going to have even more action as we approach the last few laps of the race.
Lights are out on the iRacing Mustang pace car. Jared Ziegler will lead the restart on the inside line. He will be partnered on the outside line by Antonio Bianchi. Jared Ziegler, the 57, he is racing for Racing for Kids, his charity of choice, and his team is Mustard Seed Mavericks Motorsports, which is also the team of the 51 Antonio Bianchi from Canada for the British Columbia Children Hospital Foundation. So two teammates, despite having different paint schemes and supporting different charities, so they might elect to work together, and then in the final lap, anybody's game to take the victory. But they know that, we don't. And what we know is that the lucky 13 laps to go will be the ones that we are going to have when the green flag will drop in a few seconds time for this 7th restart of the night.
We sure do, as the pace car approaches the final corner, hopefully for the final time tonight, and it is going to be Jared Ziegler who will have the lead of this race, and Antonio Bianchi who will lead at the outside line. Ruben Ray, our race leader over the last couple of laps, is in third at this point. So we go green one more time, and Ruben Ray makes his way out to second.
Big wreck!
Yes, I jinxed it once again. Well done.
you did that.
I'm so sorry, man. Now it's my turn to jinx it.
Wilmer, right, Doer. I think also I saw other cars certainly be involved. Maybe McDonald again. Replay time. So look at the 6. Oh, he gets collected by the 66, and at that point it becomes a free-for-all. And again, all the drivers who entered pit road before the yellow dropped, they are sadly going to be tagged with an unsafe pit entrance penalty. I mean, even the guys who did enter the pits after, but those drivers, the drivers who entered the pit lane unsafely, after the yellow flag has been waved, they get an end-of-line penalty. The other guys will have to serve a penalty under green, which is a big issue. And now, of course, when the caution comes out straight after the restart, it's always a bit of an iRacing mystery where the pace car will come out and who it will take. So, fingers crossed. In the past, this was almost a death sentence. If this happened, the pace car would bug out, and that would be that. That happened to me a couple of times in an NIS race, very annoying. Seems like the pace car is in turn 4 and has correctly got the leader, so I have to say that the extra training that that the iRacing officials gave to their pace car drivers after 11 plus years of iRacing are finally paying off. But of course we wasted a full lap of this, and now with 11 to go, of course, all smiles for Ziegler, because of course less laps and he's still in the lead. But as I was saying earlier, each restart now the drama will be even higher every time, because there's less laps to go and a lot of less chances to make the moves that you want to make. So I'm not surprised to have had a wreck at the green flag drop.
I think we'll let the race decide for itself. So we do have probably Avery McDonald making use of that lucky dog to unlap himself. So very nice to have that feature in the iRacing service. So we do have a good view of the cars going single file as they kind of take this pace lap.
By the
And
way, let's sorry, Wayne. Let's give a look at the time left in the session.
I
Which
think we
which we don't
we
have,
have.
but we should
Well,
have
I think
plenty of time.
yeah, I think we do have in fact in excess of an hour. So actually, it's the race will still be able to finish completely. So I don't think there's much to worry about in terms of race time. But I think it's just a matter of a race of attrition because 100 laps at Daytona is a very long race, and after some laps, you would sometimes find yourself having trouble trying to keep your keep your attention as effective as they would be, and I think that was probably the case for many of the drivers. Speaking of which, the track temperatures seem to have risen, and I'm not too sure how that's going to play, in the car's ability to kind of hold on to itself. So of course we are at 10 to go at this point, and I think I might have overheard the chat a little bit. I think drivers might be able to have a green-white checker finish, so that would probably put that'll probably allow for quite an exciting end to this race. So the pace car lights are off, and it's going to be half a lap until the green flag flies one more time. So this is caution number 8, which is probably going to be the 9th green flag that we'll have for ourselves later on. So field is being led by Jared Ziegler once again, and also with Ruben Ray out in the outside line. And each driver will have quite a number of drivers pushing them as they go green once again.
Yeah, we are getting ready to go. And hopefully for the final restart of the night, restart number 8. Ziegler is the blue car, and Ray is the shiny, sort of shiny and black car on the outside. Here we go.
Pace car is in, and green flag is going to fly, and it will be Jared Ziegler leading the field, and Antonio Bianchi just pushing up to go into second, and Ruben Ray settles for third. So we are going to go racing one more time. We've got some battle damaged cars in at the other side of the field, though. Some of them were previously the leaders of this race. So at this point, the drivers who are in front now are probably the drivers who have survived the race of attrition, and they are going to make things work for themselves towards the final moments of this race. We are at 9 to go, and 57 leads 51. 51 pushing 57 to kind of preserve this inside line. But is it going to be a case of the number 51 of Antonio Bianchi probably thinking of a move along the outside? Because there is already a car along the outside. That's probably Sean Cheeseman, who is out there to in preparation for any driver who will make the move for the outside line. But we do have someone along the outside already to lead the outside line. That is number 259 of David Levine. So they will probably make the outside line work at this point. So we've got a couple of other drivers who are trying to keep up with the lead pack. So I think one car with a missing bonnet, a missing front bumper. He's trying to make things work for himself as well. So right now, 259 going a little, trying to get as much advantage from the number 8 as possible. Don't forget there's also side slipstreaming, side drafting, which will kind of benefit the cars a little bit. And it would appear that Sean Cheeseman is pushing David Levine so hard that he's going to get a bit of advantage. You can just see him inching forward ever so slightly closer to Jared Ziegler.
Remember the 51, the 57 teammates as the 8 is trying to push the 259 as they go back on the backstretch. Also we have the 96. Oh dear, that's very, very scary. The 76 and the 38 having fun there at the front. Oh gotta be careful there. The 259 and not the best line coming out of there. The 8 elects to go down to the bottom wisely, might I add. Now the 57, the 51 moves up, then moves down. Then we have another car going there on the outside. It should be the 76. As all of a sudden Ruben Ray has pushed his way up to third of the inside line.
So great performance by these cars up front thus far. So Ruben Ray dives to the outside to perhaps make the outside line work. So he has Sean Cheeseman pushing him. So right now it is Ruben Ray leading the outside line, and he's probably going to think of an overtaking move. Well, I thought I almost saw a 3 wide there, but that's probably not going to be the case. As we have Jared Ziegler being pushed by this beautiful looking purple Toyota Camry of, I think, Antonio Bianchi, and we can just see the pace differences. And right now along the outside, Ruben Ray is getting a bit of a pace advantage, but I think the outside line does require a couple more drivers in order to make it more efficiently.
Oh no, they crash at the front! Massive hit! Caution is out! The leaders have been wiped out!
That caught me by surprise once again, so I think it was a matter of one driver, unfortunately, possibly tangling with another car, and it was a car that kind of came down to the inside. So if we can get a look of that replay, we'll kind of probably kind of dissect that incident once again. So this is the number 57 of Jared Ziegler. He was up in the race lead. So a slow motion here, but I think the incident will kind of take place a bit later on.
Yeah, this is the previous lap. My apologies. So hold on. And this is too late, but because of course. Let's see.
I think we should have some good pictures here.
No.
So at this point,
yes, now.
Oh, it isn't.
Now this should be the right one. Let's go in slow motion because we can look better the car. So the 8, Ryan is pushing the 96, assuming this is the correct replay, which again I'm not sure. We might
so
just
there was
be
a
looking
push.
Ooh, there we go. Wrong push by the 8. Moves Ruben Ray into the leader, and then the leader Ziegler gets up, clips the 8, massive wreck. Other cars piled into the wreck there on the top lane, and it remains to be seen how much damage do drivers like Ray, Bianchi, and Levine have after this hit.
So I guess we're back to live pictures, and I think the 4 laps to go, 3 laps to go. So I think if this fast caution is going to play in effect one more time, I think the drivers would hopefully have a green-white checker finish later on. So I think they will have the opportunity to race one more time before the actual checker flag flies. So I think it would appear to be that looks to be like Avery McDonald who's gone along the outside for the lucky dog.
Now, if you see the timing, on the timing tower, the lap counter behave bizarrely, it means that we are doing a green-white checker, which I think we will, given that we only have 3 laps to go and the lights are still on. Maybe we can I think Avery will let us know if the race is over or not. I think it's not, but we'll know for sure when if they cross the start finish line now, and it still says like 3 to go or 4 to go or something like that. It means that we are going to have a green-white checker. Now iRacing as a rule that we can have up to 3 green-white checkers, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how many, if we have 1, 2 or 3. I guess we will know. The drivers know this, of course, but we don't. It adds to the mystery of this race finish. And if we do have a green-white checkered, I will go through the rules and explain how it works. let's see, first of all, what happens to the timing tower there on the top left. So drum roll please, as the drivers cross the line. It goes to 2 to go, and now back to 3 to go. Okay, so it's a green-white checker. So what's going to happen? We are going to have a restart, this time by, and it will be the green flag that the drivers will take. If there is a wreck in this lap, if we have other green-white checkers, we start from scratch once again, so another restart. If we don't have any more green-white checkers, the race is over on the order that the cars are when the green flag drops, the yellow flag drops. If we don't have a crash and the leader takes the white flag, we race to the checker flag no matter what happens. There could be a hole on the backstretch swallowing all the cars. We don't care. The first to the finish wins. So, high stakes, very, very high stakes. There is not, I don't think there is a more dramatic finish to a super speedway race than a green white flag finish, Wean, and we are getting it. So, you know, it's going to be exciting.
Sure is. So the drivers do in fact have 3 green-white checkers.
Perfect. Thank you.
Finishes. So yeah, that's going to just spice things up a little bit. So to allow the drivers the opportunity to race a couple more times, if this happens to probably be a Bosch attempt. So 51 leads the race at this point. Antonio Bianchi and Ruben Ray is along the outside. So we will perhaps see how this kind of turns out to be. So the pace car is leading the field down down turn 4, and it'll make its way into the pits once again, and it's going to be green-white checkered, green flag once again. Antonio Bianchi leads the field as he goes full throttle a little later than usual, and we go racing once again. Ruben Ray is along the outside. He's going to fall back a couple of positions due to the fact that the outside line is slower than the inside. Oh, a bit of touch there between Wilmer and Bianchi, but Wilmer moves along the inside, sneaks underneath Antonio Bianchi. So I think that was probably a good case of the bump and run. But of course, Wilmer made that work very safely, and Antonio Bianchi played that very well as well. Someone's gone into the wall and contact, and we are unfortunately going to have yet another yellow flag, and more cars have kind of collided into each other. So this has been the first attempt of the green-white checker, and we have 2 more left.
Justin Malarkey just went to Mars. I think it was him. No, it wasn't. But how did he wreck then? He didn't. Just wait and get a replay, let's see. Oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah, it was him. Oh dear. Poor Justin. From race winner to astronaut.
That was an unfortunate night for Malarkey, in fact. That was very high up.
I don't know about you, but that looked like a very dangerous deceleration for the 73. I mean, look, he stops on a dime. Look at that. Bam! Like he hit, I don't know, maybe a wall that was, an invisible wall.
Yeah, I think that might have been some pylons sticking out of that safer barrier out there. But it's okay. We have yet another green-white checker that drivers can use. So this is the second GWC that drivers will have. I think some drivers definitely have to make it into the pits to, due to damages and stuff like that. But everyone else stays out because this is where everything is down the wire, just like the previous green-white checker.
And look who's back on the lead lap after he takes the wave around. Sorry, the lucky dog, which is now. See, guys, you need to persevere, and persevere. Avery McDonald is back on the lead lap. if I open my window, which I won't because we are below 0 Celsius here, the sun is about to rise and the birds are singing here as well. Wei-An, but unfortunately, again, I don't want to become, you know, how do you say, popsicle? I think no, it's yeah, a popsicle. I don't want to become a popsicle in the commentary. In the commentary.
Oh no, that's gonna be quite scary, man.
Yeah. So, cars are in single file, lights are still up on that pace car, which means we will have at least one more lap of pacing. Carrington Wilmer, which at least on my screen is not running numbers on that car. I see is racing with a Virginia Tech livery. I mean, he has a number, but it's black on black, so it's impossible to read. Virginia Tech, of course, a very famous college in or university, I should say. And as a fan of college sports myself, I of course know it. How couldn't I? Even though go Ducks, if there is any Oregon fan, watching, you have an Italian fan, the Oregon Ducks. But back to the racing, double file, getting ready to go. Of course, for drivers like McDonald, who is I think heading for the pits for a splash and dash and maybe some fresh tires. The unfortunate thing for him is that he will have to start behind every one of the cars that are, because the lucky dog gets sent back to the end of the longest line, unfortunately for him. So it's not like he has a shot at winning, but he certainly has a shot at a decent finish. P12 for him. So and the other car behind him, the guy in 13th, is 2 laps down. So at worst he's going to finish 12th, which considering how the things were looking for him, it's not a bad result. Of course, he himself, like many other drivers, could have fought for the victory. Look at Adam Wright. His fan club gave up on him in the chat, but he, despite missing important bits of his car, is in 4th at his restart.
Yeah, I think he's rocking quite an awesome paint scheme as well, man. I mean, you're missing a gold bumper, but it still looks nice.
Avery McDonald told me going for broke in our private chat, and here we go.
Green flag one more time, as it's going to be Carrington Wilmer will lead the field one more time, and Antonio Bianchi along the outside. So missing a bumper is Adam Wright. I'm not too sure if slipstreaming will still, bump drafting will still work, but I really hope it does. So we go racing again, and the 51 of Antonio Bianchi is trying to find a window which he can slip in to secure his 3rd position. He holds on to 3rd position, and he's going to be part of probably the next inside line. Is he going to think of a move along the outside? Is he going to go out and perhaps go for an overtaking move? I think given that that we've probably got like a couple of laps for this green-white checker to take effect. We're just going to keep our eyes on the top 3 cars, because that's where the most intense battle of positions will take place.
And they take the flag, so one more lap to go no matter what. Zarela Blanca here in Daytona.
'51 Ever looking so feisty, as he's probably going to think about, is he going to make the overtaking move now, or is he going to do it later on? So it is, in fact, Chris Morrell who will go along the outside, but Carrington Wilmer defends the outside line, and he goes back in to defend the inside line. So, very much weaving there, trying to keep everything compact. So it is anyone's game at this point. The 51 of Bianchi goes along the outside to perhaps think of a way to make his way around. But we've also got Kyle Drunker and Avery McDonald, who's made so much moves to go up, but positions will remain, and it's going to be Carrington Wilmer who will win here at Daytona, and also with Chris Morrell, Antonio Bianchi, Kyle Drunker, and Avery McDonald who will round up your top 5. Very brilliant racing there. the battle towards the finish was very, very clean as well, and everyone up front made it through safely.
Yeah, so Wilmer was able to hold on despite the pressure from behind. Maybe Smorol and Bianchi could have worked together a bit better, but Carrington Wilmer, number 24, representing, of course, C3S Racing and the Best Buddies of North Carolina charity, brings home the checkered flag. Unofficial results from Daytona International Speedway, and I'm sure we are going to have a nice show from the race winner. Where is he going? He either wants to do the donuts on the backstretch or he's being chased by an angry mob. I don't know what to make of this scene. Let's see. Oh man. What a finish. I mean, you know, it's been a long broadcast, but we have been rewarded with a very tense, very spectacular ending. A word of, you know, want to say just a big round of applause to Avery McDonald, who finished in 5th and was, you know, having massive pace towards the end of the race. And 5th place, of course, is incredible if you think he was 3 laps down by Carrington Wilmer, the hero of the day, with donuts in the grass, deservedly so, might I add, as Wei-Yan will take us through the unofficial race results for this race in just a second. Here we go.
So such a feisty race indeed. That is Carrington Wilmer making all the donuts, doing the burnouts against the wall. You know, very, very nice scene there. So Carrington Wilmer wins here at Daytona, and Chris Morrell comes home in 2nd, representing the V Foundation BRCA Research. Antonio Bianchi, also a privateer, he will come home in 3rd. And Carl Dronker finishes in 4th, representing Breaking Bad Motorsports. Avery McDonald, representing Prime Time Shuttle Services, comes home in 5th, and Adam Wright in 6th, of course, representing charity of choice, Chicago Independent Venue League. Brian Miller in 7th, Mike Bowers in 8th, representing Pop in the Shop. Chris Herrera in 9th, he was performing very well at different moments of this race, but he comes home in 9th. He represents Running on Empty, and Jared Ziegler, privateer, comes home in 10th. So Nikolai Wood will come home in 11th, and Jake Ashie, representing St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, comes home in 12th. Brian Ziegler in 13th, Carter Stickney in 14th, representing Community Partnerships Incorporated. Justin Malaki, MR73, he comes home in 15th. Walter Colata for Bike Saviors comes home in 16th. We've got also other drivers, Ruben Ray and Chris Stewart, 17th and 18th. And we've got the remaining drivers as well. In 19th will be David Levine. In 20th will be Sean Cheeseman. In 21st will be Steve Dewar. 22nd, Michael De La Sala. 23rd, Scott Dawkins, representing Stuffy Rescue. Jack Moffat in 24th, representing Black Girls Code. Robbie Cheeseman, 25th, and Jeffrey Decker, 26th. World Resources Institute Racing. These drivers round up your participants and finishers for the night here at Daytona.
Now, Wei-Yan, the broadcast was scheduled to finish exactly 1 hour ago, but as we say in Italy, we've made 30, let's make 31. So we have all the podium for interviews at this point, you know. If we weren't in the middle of a pandemic, I would go out and grab breakfast at my local bar, because it's about to be 6 in the morning here, but let's start, and I think standing with you is our race winner, Carrington Wilmer.
Wonderful. So, Carrington, welcome to the comms channel here. You know, I think we've all seen a really exciting race take place all throughout the night. So, you know, at various points of the race, we had different race leaders, but it so happened that you were the race leader at the right point to take the win here at Daytona. So could you share with us the race from your perspective?
Yeah, from my perspective, it was a great race. Our strategy the whole night was to sit at the rear, save the fast repairs, and then at the very end, we would start pushing towards the front, and that seemed to work out.
That's great to hear. So I think we've kind of also come across many uh, cautions, so to speak. The fact that this was a 100 lap race, it was kind of long, quite a long race, longer than you would usually race the officials. Was there a kind of like a race of attrition, so to speak, that you guys would face out in the field to kind of keep your focus and stuff like that?
Yeah, 100%. We knew it would be a race of attrition, and it obviously showed to be that way.
So I do understand that you are your team C3S Racing. You've got a couple of other drivers who are out running also tonight. So have you guys in fact been strategizing as a team all throughout the night during this race? Sometimes they'll perhaps coming together to push each other at various points of the field to kind of make things work at different points.
Yeah, 100%. There were multiple points where one or two of us would get dropped from the draft, so one of us would fall back to help pull them back forward to the pack.
All right, very, very, very nice. So, understanding that this is very much a charity race, so the winner does actually have the opportunity to kind of have a donation going to a direction of a charity of choice. So, is there a particular organization that you are kind of backing with this race?
Yeah, every single race this season, I've been backing the Best Buddies of North Carolina charity. It's a charity that helps those with intellectual disabilities find friends and friendship and just have a good time all together.
Oh, that is so wonderful. Carrington, before we let you go, anyone else that you'd like to give a shout out to your sponsors or your team and such?
Shout out to my whole team. I mean, as you saw it there at the end there, Chris Morrell pushed me across the finish line. So without him, I would have probably got caught.
Oh, that's so wonderful. So yeah, this is Carrington Wilmer. He is your race winner here at Daytona. And coming up next is the organizer himself, Chris Morrell, and he is with Marco Barbanera.
Let's have a chat with Chris then. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the booth. It's been a long evening, but second place after being, in the shadows for most of the race. I think you can be satisfied.
Yeah, after all is said and done, I'm pretty satisfied with the way everything turned out. Apologize to all the viewers and everybody. Had some technical difficulties there at the beginning. Thanks for sticking with us. But yeah, I was really excited for this race. I'm primarily an oval guy, so I was looking forward to this, despite the wide variety of disciplines that we've been doing. I did the Daytona 500 last night and had a sad finish to that, so I was really looking forward to some redemption here and was able to find it. I'm very happy with the second place finish, and just thanks to all the folk, all the drivers out there who came out tonight to support us.
So I was saying in the opening of the broadcast that this series basically puts drivers outside of their comfort zone. We've had so many different car and track combinations which stray far away from the traditional skip barber racing that you guys love to do. So I mean, don't be too hard on yourselves for the. I mean, I've seen oval. I commentate on proper oval leagues during the year that have much worse racing than this. So I have to say I really enjoyed it. Um, so what's next in the championship for what is the next car and track combination?
Yeah, so we've got one more race before the championship, and that'll be the Skip Barber Formula 2000 at Iowa under the lights. So that's what we're very excited about, and we're going to be doing heat racing. We kind of got the idea when we did the Cincinnati Chili Bowl. We really seem to like that setup. So some Skip Barbers under the lights at Iowa on an oval, just kind of mix it up a little bit. So a little bit of what we're used to, and kind of adding in a little bit of spice to it. So it should be a lot of fun, and hopefully there's enough momentum that we can do this again next winter and raise some money for some good causes again.
if I can make an appeal to the drivers or maybe on the fans, do the Iowa race, because there is nothing better on iRacing than racing with a Skip Barber on short ovals. I've done a 2K World Cup on ovals a few years ago with the Skip Barber, and it was the most fun I've had in iRacing, ever. And I long for that league to come back. If I wasn't commentating, I think I will just broadcasting that race. I would be up there mixing it up with you guys, because that's so much fun to drive the Skippy on ovals. So 2 thumbs up, because I only have two ends. But if I had three, I would give you 3 thumbs up for this choice.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fan favorite, and I think that we're going to be able to put on a really good show for everybody. And once again, obviously circling back to the charities, raise some awareness and all that. But at the end of the day, we're all just having a ton of fun with this. And to your point, we've been having fun with things that we're not super comfortable with. And so when you put Skippies on an oval, like you said, it just kind of comes naturally. And so I think we're just going to take it to the next level for our final race.
So, well, congratulations on the second place, Chris. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, always my family. I love them to death, and they're super supportive of all of this. And I can't thank them enough. Everybody who's watching tonight. And to you guys for doing the broadcast. I really enjoy watching them afterwards, and you all have done a really great job with it. And to the drivers who come out and do this would be, I said this before, this would be nothing without guys who come out and want to, raise some money for charities and causes that they care a lot about, and have some fun in the process. And it'd be boring if it was just me running out laps by myself. So hats off to all the drivers tonight. We had a great time. And then finally, to all the donors, to all our benefactors, we had a outpouring. And each race, it seems like we get 1, 2 more that wanna that dig what we're doing and want to add to the goodness that we're trying to spread. So thanks to all those folks.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Chris, and we'll catch you for the next one.
Sounds good. We'll see you then.
And Weian, last but not least, we have our third place finisher standing with you, Antonio Bianchi from Canada.
All right, hi Antonio, welcome to the commentary booth. Look, fantastic racing all night long. I think we've like I shared with Carrington. In fact, we had different drivers, leading the race and at the top 3 of the race at different points. But you guys were at the right place at the right time to kind of come home with this result. So Antonio, could you please share with us the race from your perspective? Understanding that it had been a very long race, a very long night of racing, and there have been so many things that have happened that have led to this outcome.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of big wrecks there in the beginning, but I managed to skate my way through most of them. I think I got caught up in one earlier, so I had to burn a faster pair. But for the most part, towards the end of the race, I had my teammate helping me, Jared, the number 57, for most of the night until that one final wreck there. And then after I lost him, I was sitting there pretty much in P3 after the restart figured out there. And then I was trying my best to get around those two, but I couldn't do anything, unfortunately. I had no help, so we just kind of had to settle for a P3. But great race overall. Had a blast.
Sure, that's brilliant to hear. So, I think we would also like to all understand about the charity that you would be representing with this race, because we do understand that the top 3 drivers as well as a couple of others would have the benefit of being able to contribute to their charity of choice. So, could you please share with us about the charity that you are representing?
Yeah, so I live in Canada, in British Columbia, and BC Children's Hospital is a foundation basically helping out all the kids that are in need in British Columbia that are in one of the hospitals for children. So lots of people who say get cancer or other diseases as children would go to that hospital. So any of the funds that are donated to that charity would go towards helping out those kids in need. So I selected that because it was local, and of course, always want to help kids that are, sick.
That's so wonderful. So, before we let you go, anyone that you'd like to thank, your team or sponsors or, anyone like that?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'd like to thank my two teammates, Jared Ziegler and Brian Ziegler. Those guys were great. Jared, all night, I was trying to help him out. He was helping me out. We were working together there. And personally, I'd like to thank Chris Morrill and anyone else who helped put on this event. This was an awesome event, and I had an absolute blast, and I'm sure everyone else in the field can say so. And thank you to you guys again for broadcasting. That was we appreciate it. It was a great race, and thank you all so much.
Wonderful. So that was Antonio Bianchi, your third place finisher. Put up such a great show for all of us. So Marco, what a night of racing it has been.
It's been great. It's been perfect entree to the real life race that's going to happen tomorrow. Well, today for me now, and for you, of course, but not for the for our friends in North America. Daytona 500, which, as per usual, given that it happens in evening Italian time, is going to be, accompanied by a pizza, as is my tradition on Sundays. So, I mean, Daytona and pizza, perfect combo. Today was beautiful to start with this event here with the Sunday Night Skippy challenge, winter challenge for charity. And I think that I will leave you to the final considerations, Wayan.
Yeah, so it has been such an exciting long race. Of course, more importantly, this race has been for a good cause. The Sunday Night Skippy is the SNS Winter Challenge for charity. This one is a Daytona 250, so it is in fact half the length of a Daytona 500, but very long nonetheless. So, on behalf of Marco Barbanera, I have been Chan Weihan, and it has been our pleasure bringing to you live action here from Daytona. Very good racing that we've all experienced. And I'm also aware that there will be so many more broadcasts that will happen over the next couple of days, Marco.
Absolutely. We are having in just a few hours at this point, our friends of the Aussie Mixed and Fixed Championship that will be at 9:40 GMT from Monza, in Italy. And then the evening, if you want to have some side-by-side action between Daytona and iRacing, we have a plethora of events. The Weekend Warriors at 19:55 GMT with the Spec Racer Ford at Imola. Then we have the Apex Racing League GT Championship presented by Colbeck, round 3 from Montreal at 8 PM GMT. At 21:25 GMT, the IGP Fan F3 VRS Super Series from Okayama. And to round up the proceedings, the 5th round of the Colorado Karting Tour Championship at that's going to be on Monday technically at 1:55 GMT. So full Sunday / Monday morning of racing. It's going to be plenty of stuff to follow.
So wonderful. It's been a pleasure sharing the booth with you, Marco, and thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in to this very special coverage of this Daytona 250. And it leaves with us to wish you, have a good night ahead, have a good day ahead wherever you may be, and we'll see you the next broadcast.